Alright guys, what's going on? So here's a part 2 of the LR-308 build. Again, I'm going to try and do like a little video series. Noticed there wasn't too many LR-308 build videos out there, and I figured I kind of wanted to make my own, kind of track my progress. Maybe inspire some of you guys, if not, give you guys something to watch. And just kind of, like I said, just kind of show my progress on where I go with this. Like in my last video, how I finished out, I told you guys that I was gonna end up putting the lower parts kit off camera. There's plenty of videos on how to do that, so here it is. Ended up putting it together. Everything went pretty smooth. The pins were pretty tight. I'm not sure if that was a CMMG kit or the lower, but the more I play with it, the more it breaks in. The only thing I did have kind of a gripe and an issue with was this. The front pivot pin, the detent, because in here there goes the spring with the detent, and that's what holds this in, and it's still pretty fucking firm, but it holds that in and allows that not to come out. The detent that holds that in, the spring, what I found out was I had a really hard time. I know it's supposed to be kind of difficult, but it was pretty fucking impossible. I was having a hard time getting the spring and detent to get down past this hole, and I noticed every time I would bring the spring out, there'd be metal shavings. What I found out was during the machining process, it's kind of poor on JD's part, but the machining process, when they milled this out, they left a bunch of metal shavings in there, about halfway full. So the spring was only going about halfway and was getting jammed with the metal shavings when they made this hole, and probably the rest of the machining on here, they didn't blow or clean that out properly. So I had to get an Allen key and kind of break up the metal shavings and blow it out like 100 times until finally it went in. I'm pretty sure there's still some metal shavings in there because, like I said, this pin is super hard to get in. Again, the CMMG kit, it is the LR-308. I believe you can use a AR-15 lower parts kit. Don't quote me on that, but I think you can. As far as I saw, everything is about the same size. On most lower parts kits, that's what this plate is for, is to hold in the spring for your spring and detent for the safety. But the spring and detent, for some reason, when I was doing it, I've built a couple lowers, so I know what I'm doing, but I ended up watching videos because I thought I was doing something wrong, because the spring and detent was too short for this, at least the one that came with this kit, so it wasn't locking this in, and I couldn't figure out, or sorry, it doesn't hold in the safety selector. It holds in the takedown pin, the rear takedown pin. And I put it in where it's supposed to go, where this plate is covering to hold it in, and it was too short. What I found out is I noticed there was another hole when I was done putting everything else in. There was another hole right here, and I figured out it kind of led to there. And what I ended up doing is there's another slot to put the spring in here for a shorter spring, I guess, because this is longer than the AR-15. So again, that's why I think these are compatible with AR-15 lower parts kits. And the AR-15 lower parts kit, JD actually drills a machine. I'm not sure if it's DPMS style rifles altogether or just JD, but it's got a shorter hole right here to allow that spring and detent to work properly, because again, this one's too long. It does have a hole back here, but again, it's too long for it to engage. Other than that, the machining is great on the lower. I'm really happy with it. Again, JD has a great reputation for a reason. Great machine shop down in San Diego. Again, I'm a Cali boy. It's a local company. I like it. Other than that, besides the metal shavings and then this thing being quirky, which again, I think it's just like an LR-308 thing, because this is actually longer, because apparently your bolt is like 3/4 of an inch longer than a 5.56. It went pretty well. I didn't have any issues, again, besides that spring. The part 2 of this build, I was actually hoping that I'd get the rail before I got everything else, but I ended up getting the barrel first. I actually ended up getting a lot of stuff, and as you can tell, this thing's empty. I kind of got ahead of myself, and again, I went to my local gun store, and they were having a 10% off all accessory sale, and that included barrels, gas blocks, pretty much everything that I needed. So I ended up getting about 80% of this build done in about a week. Again, I was trying to take my time, but it's kind of hard to pass up a sale, 10% off sale, when that's everything I need in the first place. I had the funds. I didn't want to spend the funds just yet, but so pretty much, again, it's a Mega. Like I said before, it's a Mega barrel. It's a 1 in 10 twist. I kind of like 1 in 12 twists, but 1 in 10 isn't bad. 1 in 11.5 is supposed to be like optimal for 308 cartridges, at least match cartridges for like the 168, 175. But it's an 18-inch barrel, the Mega Ma 308 18-inch. Again, I said I got ahead of myself, so I'll kind of go over it before I show you the barrel. The Mega Arms, they just started selling these barrels, I think maybe a couple months ago, not too long. And yeah, supposedly they're supposed to be shilling blanks. Shilling barrels are really good barrels. Mega actually guarantees that you will get sub 1 MOA accuracy using factory match ammo, which usually means that if you use a good hand load and you dial it in, you can usually get about half-inch groups at 100 yards and sub like half MOA groupings if you do your part. So that was pretty hard to pass up. I believe this was like $326 is the retail price. Again, my local shop had it for 10% off. They had their whole 10% off sale. Pretty much everything I needed was 10% off. So I ended up getting this for like $280, and that's pretty hard to beat. What else can I go over? Yeah, it's just the Mega 10 barrel. I got the 18-inch. Difference between an 18-inch and a 20-inch barrel is only about 60 feet per second at the muzzle. If you drop down to the 16-inch, I believe it's somewhere around 100 or 120 feet per second. A lot bigger difference. This one, the 18-inch, I figured it was the perfect mix between compactability and maximizing my cartridge for the most part without having too long of a barrel. I actually wanted the 20-inch at the beginning, but I kind of grew on to the 18-inch because the 20 just looks a little bit too long. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. They do offer a 16, 18, and 20-inch option, at least Mega does. Again, it's reported that they use shilling blanks, which are really good. I was set on the Bartlein barrel, but I'd end up being around $650 after that was finished and milled out from my local gunsmith. So it's pretty hard to beat a match grade stainless steel barrel, already coated, already finished, already threaded. Everything's ready to go for $320. And again, I got it for below that, but it just happened to be a spur of the moment thing, and it just kind of worked out for me. So enough of the cover. Again, I said I kind of got ahead of myself, and I ended up buying a lot more than I wanted to. But there you go. The other reason why I kind of got ahead of myself is I actually ended up putting it together. I was going to wait to actually do it on video, but I was kind of bored after work and I kind of got a little excited. But I'll kind of just go over it. I got a basic CMMG bolt carrier group. It's the standard. Again, for some reason, the LR-308s, they don't have the slide serration, or the not the slide serration, but the serrations for the forward assist. So having the forward assist is pretty useless. Again, I'm just gonna get a plug for it. This is a CMMG 308 bolt carrier group. Again, it's just a beefier bolt carrier group than the 5.56. And also, if you guys know what the 5.56 is, this thing's pretty long. It's supposed to be about almost an inch longer than the 5.56. I'll actually break my AR-15 down and compare them for you guys. So I still need to get a charging handle. I still need to get a couple parts. But for the most part, I got the majority of it done. So here you go. So you guys can... These are the serrations I'm talking about that are for the... those are for the forward assist. Again, it doesn't have it, and you can tell it's just a beefier, huge-ass bolt and bolt carrier group. So I'm not gonna lie, my BCM was a lot tighter fit. This has a nice finish, but it's pretty loose. When I got my BCM for my 5.56. This actually took a while to break in, to loosen up. This is pretty loose. Again, it's probably nothing wrong with it, but it's just something I'm used to as a tight bolt, at least for like the first 200 rounds. But you can't really complain. So again, it's a lot beefier than the 5.56. 5.56 is on the bottom, and the 308 is on the top. So you guys can kind of get a comparison right there. I ended up getting a low profile gas block. I don't remember the company. I think it's like a Yankee Hill. I got my gun shops. It's just like a standard gas block. The other thing I want to tell you guys too is the 16-inch and 18-inch Mega barrels are mid-length gas systems. The only one that's a rifle length is the 20-inch. I talked to Mega Direct and kind of asked them why that was, because I was kind of worried of overgassing issues. And they said overgassing will not be a problem because overgassing is only caused if you have poor machining or you drill or mill out too big of a hole for the gas tube. And they said they do it properly. They have pretty tight tolerances for their gas tubes, so that's not going to be a problem. They said as long as you do it properly, there's no overgassing issues at all. I forgot the profile, but this is a 5.56 and 308. Just the profile of the barrel is the same as a 5.56 right here. It kind of it's a thicker profile, and then it drops down to a I think it's a .750, which allows you to use a 5.56 gas block and then just a standard 5.56 gas tube. Again, this is a DPMS platform. It allows you to use pretty much a lot of AR-15 platform, or a lot of AR-15 parts to have more variety and use more things. I already installed the barrel pretty much. I ended up me and my cousin, we ended up taking the upper off and put some lithium grease, and we ended up, I'm going to take this off because I don't have it staked in yet, but we ended up kind of installing it, but we kind of misaligned it, and this is a very tight fit. Kind of had to pound it in there pretty good, but we're just off a little bit. I don't want to shove that in there and ruin the threads, so I'm talking to a AR-15 barrel rifle maker and asking him if I should just try and pound it in, because it's pretty close, but again, I just don't want to ruin the threads by going the He-Man route and just fucking smashing it in there and then hopefully ruining my whole entire upper and being out like about $300 to $400. So still working on that. Again, I got ahead of myself. I wasn't planning on being this far already, but with the event of sales and me wanting to save money and me being a little excited for this build, kind of got ahead of myself. I'll go ahead and put it together so you guys can kind of get an idea what it looks like put together. And pop these pins out. Again, the front one's still pretty hard. Put the front pivot pin. Alright. Again, I don't have a gas or ejection port cover yet, but I'm going to be getting that one pretty soon. My buddy actually found one online for me, and he gave me a link to it, so I'm probably going to end up, like I said, I'm going to try and take my time, but I kind of want to pick that up before it's out of stock. This probably won't fit on the camera. Yeah, it's too big, but this is pretty much the gist of where I'm at for now. I plan on getting a little farther. Right about there should be. Come on. Gotta get it in the bolt carrier group without scratching anything and ruining it. There we go. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Again, it's too big for the camera, but I'll give you guys kind of like a little preview. Again, it already comes pre-threaded. Comes with a cap. It comes really well packaged. There's no damage. There's no way it's pretty much going to damage. It comes with about 2 inches of foam around your barrel. When inside of this pretty hard cardboard tube. Very well packaged, very well made, very clean. There's no machining, no tooling marks. There is slight tooling marks on the on where the locking lugs go, but The muzzle is actually crowned. Let me see if I can take this off. Give you guys a little look. Yeah, you guys probably won't be able to see it, but there is some crowning right there, and it is a threaded barrel. Again, it's pretty hard to beat this, especially if it is actually a shilling blank for, what was it, 300 bucks. So guaranteed sub MOA accuracy. Can't really beat that. I'm trying to get this damn thing on camera. Yeah, so again, that's where I'm at as of right now. And hopefully next will be the rail. I already got the PMags on the way. So next I'm going to have the A2 on there, have some PMags, have the rail on there. After that, I'm going to take a little break and hopefully later on purchase the LaRue mount with the scope, and then the go ahead and purchase the muzzle brake, and then hopefully that'll be most of it. I'll probably be happy. I'll probably end up changing out the grip. I don't like this little nub, especially for precision. I figure it kind of gets in the way. This actually, you know what? I have my 700. I actually thought this would be around the same weight as my Remington 700. It's not even close. I know the UBR is going to add some weight, but this is actually really light. I was not expecting it to be that light. Trigger pull is actually not that bad. Again, it's probably at like a 6 or 7 pound. CMMG trigger is pretty good. And yeah, it's pretty much going to be about it for part 2. I'll probably check in when I get the Troy rail on, get the barrel fully seated. The Troy rail, again, is going to have a nut. That's why I don't have a barrel nut on there yet. Yeah, but pretty much I got a lot more done than I was planning at this point in time. But I'm pretty happy with where it's going. As you guys can tell, it's starting to turn into something. It's starting to look like a rifle. So not where I want it to be. Again, I don't want this stock on there. The cheek weld, I thought it would be an issue with this high rail, but after kind of mounting it up, you're actually way above where the rail's at. So I don't think I'm going to have a really bad cheek weld problem, especially with the UBR. I think it's supposed to be a little bit thicker on top, but I think I'm going to be okay even with the high rail. I believe the high rail is only like 0.182 of an inch thicker than the low profile rail. So it's a very slight difference, but it is a difference. Again, the lower you can get to the bore axis, the better. Just better as of angles and the way buying the scope works. Just better for adjustments and stuff like that. But again, I ended up picking up a CMMG standard LR-308 bolt carrier group, and picking up the Mega, I guess it's the Mega MA 10 308 18-inch barrel with the mid-length gas system and the low-profile gas block and the mid-length standard gas tube. So it's pretty much mostly done. The CMMG kit went in pretty well. Still got to get the charging handle. Kind of debating if I want to get the what is it, the Bravo company, the gunfighter or whatever it is, the tactical latch. I've never really had to use that. I have the standard on my AR-15. I don't do the combat training, so I don't really need to tactical rack my AR-15 or anything like that. So I don't think I'm going to get that, but maybe. And again, I still need the dust cover, scope. But yeah, it's pretty much, like I said, it's starting to become a rifle. It's gotten a lot farther than I thought I wanted to be right now, but it just happened to work out that way. So there's going to be part 2. Part 3, again, I'll probably have the rail, the mags, and then hopefully an A2 stock, and then we'll keep on working from there. So that's going to be the end of part 2, and I'll kind of give you guys a quick little look again. Again, it's a JD billet upper and lower matching set for my LR-308. And go ahead and give you guys a look at the receivers again. It's pretty dope. I'm pretty happy with it. So that's going to be it for part 2.